It looks like the girls are back at it again, but this time the tea is a little hotter.
Welcome back to our spinoff of Spill It Sis. And this is where we will read one of your DMs or emails. One of our viewers sent this. Hi, I wanted to send this in because I'm already feeling stressed thinking about the holidays. I have family members I barely talk to, and being around them brings up old arguments, judgment, and tension. I'm anxious about sitting at the same table with people who don't really understand me or who make me feel like I have to explain myself or defend my choices. Part of me wants to skip it completely to protect my peace, but another part of me feels guilty for not going, as if I'm letting everyone down or missing out on family traditions. I don't want the holidays to be miserable, but I also don't want to sacrifice my mental health. How do you navigate family gatherings with certain relatives?
Wow. That's a lot.
That was very intense, and I'm not gonna lie, I think we've all been in these situations, right, where you go somewhere and the vibe is not it. I feel like for me personally, I'm gonna give a little background story before we actually start to indulge in this. I actually had family members where I don't like them, don't want to involve myself around them, and at a certain point, I feel like when you're young, you have to go because your parents are making you go. But as an older individual, right, like you get to make those choices. So ultimately, I would say, one, definitely put yourself first, right? Because if you feel like you going there is gonna mentally and physically drain you, you don't want to put that bad energy on yourself. And also, we live in a world today where everybody has different views and make their own choices of how they want to live their life, who they want to interact with. And I feel like if those don't align, you shouldn't surround yourself with them. If they're individuals that are constantly bringing it up, right? Because we can have different views and still be in the same room. But if you're an individual that's going to constantly bring up those values or those beliefs and they don't align with you, then that's something for you to know, like, hey, you actually need to separate yourself from. Do you agree with that, or do you feel like
So I agree. I guess the only part that I disagree with is like if this person only has their family, because backtrack, right? Like I agree with the fact of if someone or something feels like it's bringing up a lot of anxiety in you, you're kind of questioning, you're in an environment that you have to question what you say, how you act. Yes, I would pretty much say it's smart to remove yourself, right? Or just like enforce some type of boundary. But I think with family, it's rough, especially around the holidays, because that's your family, right? Like those are the people that you grew up with, I'm assuming most, right? So it can be tricky because that when the holiday comes around is when family congregates and unites. So my only thing is, yeah, you could have friends that are like family, and what if your friend has their own family that they're going to? And okay, let's say your friend and you are super close and you join your friend's family. I feel like there's still gonna be like an emptiness there. Like I would feel some type of way like, dang, I can't get with my own family. That's why I do really feel like it depends on the severity of the situation. Like if this person's saying this arguments, how severe have the arguments been? Like has it been like did it ever get physical? Did it ever get a point that you were like unsafe? Is this something that you feel like you could still enjoy your family while enforcing your boundaries? Or maybe let's say when certain conversation comes up that make you feel uncomfortable, maybe you're able to step aside. Maybe you walk outside, take a walk, do something else in the kitchen. Like to what extent is this? Because I wouldn't want to tell someone to completely remove themselves from their family if it's something that they can kind of manage on their own. Like you already know that this is gonna happen. So predetermine those like coping skills you can use when you go to the dinner, right? And like while still trying to enjoy your family. So that's what I'll say. Because I think if you don't go too, it would probably feel isolating. It'll probably feel really sad. But even with this, I know it was long. I would need more. Like I would kind of need like more specific context on what the arguments look like what are the type of judgments that are being sent your way, just like to determine if it's something that you can, like I said, handle and manage while you're there, or if it's something that it's like, oh, if it's really disturbing you and causing that much anxiousness in you that it's like debilitating, then yeah, remove yourself from it, you know. So.
Yeah, I think I'm just quick to remove myself. So, for me personally, like I do understand where you're coming from, right? In the sense of like if you're able to go and, you know, not have those serious conversations, then yeah, you know, do that. Or even if you do go and you still want to keep up with the family traditions, right? Because for some individuals, traditions are everything, and if that's for you, right, then maybe continue to go and just, you know, if things are getting heated, separate yourself from it, or, you know, just stay quiet and don't let it bother you. But you can always create your own traditions, right, or even start your own family traditions. So like if you decide not to go, right, and I don't have any specific family traditions that we do for like gatherings during the holidays, so, you know, except for like, oh, it's always done at so-and-so's house, right? So, you know, maybe this year just switch it up and you do your own thing. You host, you know, and invite individuals that you're comfortable spending time with, right? Because there might be other individuals in the same spot that you're in where they don't want to go to their families or don't even have a family to go to, right? And you can surround yourself with happiness. Because at the end of the day, your mental health does matter and how you feel does matter. So, you know, if you're not setting boundaries now, how long are you going to do this for, right? Because you're doing this now that you've been doing it for a while. Are you going to continue to do this in the future, or is this something that you want to put an end to it? So that's just my thought, you know, and I don't want anyone to feel guilty because they're choosing themselves over everybody, because at the end of the day, you should be choosing yourself. So,
and that's like, I feel like I can understand you saying that. You could correct me if I'm wrong too, but I feel like hearing you, I understand your point of view as a person that's single with no kid. Well, you know what I mean, like you have your partner, but you don't have children, right? Like I feel like that adds another layer for me, because if I make the decision to end ties with family, for example, then it's like I'm cutting those ties for my children too. So I feel like that's kind of like a selfish decision as well, because then it's like I can't just think about myself, I have to think about them and their community, you know, because like I could have that dynamic with my family, like, right, imagining I'm this person that broke. I could have that dynamic with my family, but then the way my children enjoy my family will be different, and they have a different dynamic.
Yeah.
So that's why I wonder if that person, I wonder if that person like
feels
has kids or is married or like even has a partner, or is just single with no boyfriend, no fiance, no nothing, like, you know, because then I think the approach is different. This is so different, because it's like if you have a partner, maybe you could go to your partner's family, but if you're just like single, don't have kids, then I think it's easier to make that decision, because like you said, you put yourself first and it's like, that's it. But like you, Katie, saying that, when I was hearing you talking, I'm like, oh, but she has her partner, right? Like, because you wouldn't be alone. You know, at the end of the day, if you're like, oh, I don't want to go to my family, like my bloodline family, like you have your partner, and then maybe you can go to his side, for example. Like, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just giving like an example, whereas someone that, like me, I'm single, but I have kids, right? So it's like, how do I manage that? And then how does a person that is single, and they only have their bloodline family.
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone in that situation, right? I mean, and like you said, I don't have kids. It's just my boyfriend and I. So for me, it might be different, but I feel personally, I can only say what I would do
Right.
if I was in that position with kids, but I can't really speak of it with experience because I don't have kids.
No, absolutely.
But I feel like I would want my kids to be surrounded by love, and if their family is their family. But at the same time, you know, what are you showing your kids? Like, are you showing them, like, and, you know, they could be a different age, right? Like, for you, they're, like, little, so it's a lot harder compared to, like, children who are older and can understand stuff, right? You know, like, showing them how to set boundaries from the beginning, you know, like, do you want your child to see you in an environment where you're being talked bad about or getting yelled at or getting into heated arguments, right? I can only talk about what I would do in the situation. If I had kids, I can't fully talk about it because I really don't have kids, you know, so I can only say what I would do.
No, and that's why I think it's actually cool because you're looking at it at one way and then I'm looking at it in a different way. So I don't think you have to look at it in a way with, you know, if you have kids or not, because your point of view is valid because there's people that are like you that don't have kids and they just have a partner, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think both viewpoints are good. But yeah, no, like it's true what you said too about teaching your kids about it. And that's something I'm trying to do with my kids so they know to do it with other people. Like, for example, like, I know we don't really think about it, but we'll be like, give me a kiss. Like, instead of saying, give me this or come, like, you know, I'll ask permission. So I'm starting to, like, ask my kids permission. Like, can I have a kiss? Can I have a hug? So they know that other people, you know, you don't have to give. If you don't feel like giving your aunt and or uncle or grandma a kiss, like, you don't have to. Just because they're your family. Because, you know, around that time, too, it gets... You know, people get excited and then they're like, give me this, and you know, so they know that they can say no when it comes to their own body. And I'm asking my kids for permission, then they know other people need to ask them for permission to do things like that. So that's a way that I'm trying to help them enforce their own boundaries because they're little people, but they still have, you know, they need to assert their boundaries.
Yeah.
Especially to family where they feel like, you know, little Johnny is 5, I could just go and hug them, but like he may not want to be hugged, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, but for this, I think we would be able to add more or give more if we knew more specifics, which I don't blame you for not wanting to give specifics on your situation. It makes sense. But just also, you know, try to focus on the positives during the holidays because there is a lot to be grateful for because it's all about how you view things at the end of the day too, which is something I'm trying to do, have a more positive mindset as a recovering pessimist. So, as I call myself.
I do want to add one more thing though.
Yeah.
Like, from a counselor perspective, right? Like,
You
said that, you know, certain situations make you anxious. Well, why don't you try role playing, right? In a sense of like, oh, you know, they're gonna ask you these questions. What are some things that you can say? So, for example, you know, in the Hispanic community, right? And it can be for like, you know, other cultures as well, but like from my experience, like before I had a boyfriend, they would be like, oh, y el novio, you know, and so then it would be like, oh, you know, he's traveling the world looking for me, you know, so like have certain answers already ready for you to use them when people ask you certain things, and it could just be short and sweet. Or if, you know, somebody says something about, you know, something super tense, I guess
Invasive.
you could say. Yeah, maybe evasive is the best word for it. Then, you know, be like, oh, honestly, I don't want to talk about it right now. Can we talk about it a different day? I have a lot to share.
Oh, that's a good one.
You don't even have to share anything later on at a different day, you know? Like, they can reach out to you, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to answer. So, But yeah, you know, just keep it short and sweet and something that you're okay with sharing so that you at least are prepared for it and it's not as anxious as it usually is.
Yeah, that's good advice, girl.
Thanks, you know, I am a counselor.
Yeah.
But overall, I hope, you know, today's session helped you in your situation, right? And I hope you have a great holiday. I know holidays are very important and it's often, you know, a time where you spend it with loved ones. So always remember to make sure that, you know, you are with a loved one that supports you unconditionally and values you, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, is this kind of like a Christmas special?
Yeah, I mean,
Cue the jingle. Yeah, and then also, like I always say, in the comments, if you like to share, like if you want to share your experience or give advice, because I'm sure there's things we could have said that we've missed on how to approach situations like this. I'm sure a lot of people are dealing with this. You know, even those that feel like they're insecure families. You know, those awkward moments of questioning and not wanting to respond come up. So if you guys can offer your perspective, because perspective is everything, that would be fire. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I haven't said that in a minute. Toodles!
Okay.
You need more coffee?
Don't think you're done just yet. More tea is brewing. Until next time, and don't forget to spill it, sis.